Episode 241, 1% idea, 99% execution.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And we're starting a whole new week. Welcome to the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Totally motivated, totally well rested, actually. I got the exception of 8 hours of sleep, which is quite seldom. But somehow, obviously, that was necessary. So today's episode is about success, and there are two core factors to success, which we're going to go through, and that's really, I think, it, because we're a bit strict on time, and so I'm going to try, and I'm a bit late today, so uploading and everything is going to take a little bit of time, and it is shortly, I think 5 to 1 or something. So very briefly, housekeeping. Item number one, sharing is caring. Yes, we have transported that to be the most important thing of this podcast, or the most important element, rather. And there we go. Sharing is caring. Why is that important? Well, a few weeks ago, I got an email from somebody out of the blue saying that they had, in the social feed of a friend of theirs, found one of our episodes, got hooked, listened to a large variety of others, changed their life, got an email, totally positive feedback. So I want that to happen for a lot of other people, which is the reason that I am so persistent on asking you to share this content. Now, there's the specific sharing thing, which is that, if this episode resonates well with, not only necessarily with yourself, but maybe somebody else in your sphere of influence, then please share it with them directly on top of sharing it through your social channels. There we go. Item number 2, as always, views my own, yada, yada, yada. Item number 3, still in major remodeling mode, probably going to go on until winter. Episodes are going to be shorter, more concise, less elaborate as a logical conclusion. And damn, I'm wasting time again. So end of transmission regarding the housekeeping thingamajiggers. Now, two core elements to success is, number one, to have the idea, and that makes up a measly 1% of success. Here's why. You're going to see a lot of successful people hustling and hustling. And they're, as soon as they strike that gold of success, it's because they're usually working very hard. Look at all of those, billionaire motivational figureheads out there, like your Elon Musk, like your Warren Buffett, and all of those cohorts. They're not necessarily something to aspire to, because they're out there. They are. You're setting goals which you're never going to be able to reach, which is going to put you in the hamster wheel, which is just going to turn faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And only very few of us are actually built to withstand such constant pressure. Now, I went through that for close to a decade, and made the decision for myself that this, 99% execution was actually something I didn't want to pursue above the degree of being at a stage of what I would refer to as financial freedom. And here's why. I repeatedly mentioned this, so I'm only going to give you the short version now. I was in Dubai in the first class lounge, and was on a connection flight somewhere, talked to someone, was in the middle of the night, talked to a friend on the phone in German. German engineer sits down, we get into talking, we talk about retirement. The guy says, well, yeah, when I retire, I'm just going to I think he wanted to produce honey or something like that. It was something bizarre along those lines, and gardening and whatnot. And it slipped my tongue because the guy looked rather old and, worn and torn. So I said, well, you don't got that long to go. And he was like, I'm 52 or something along those lines. And that for me was this moment in time when I decided that, can I take that money with me, which I am making? So anyhow, long story short, I concluded then that I would only work to a time where I could actually call myself financially free. And there we go. The rest is history. That being said, let's get back to the program. As my former teacher, Mr. Holloway, would always say, get with the program. And that's what we're going to do. Well, the idea, this 1%, which is, as the ignition part of your success rocket, going to take you out into orbit. That's, of course, crucial. If you have an idea, write it down, because ideas a lot of times get lost. You're sitting on the toilet, you have an idea, and then you don't write it down. Once you get to the kitchen, it's gone. That's why it's essential to just jot down any idea that you have, no matter how bizarre they are. Now comes the interesting part. Once you have lifted that idea figuratively into orbit by pursuing it, it's very important that we get and kind of dissect these 99% execution. Number one, it's insanely important to be financially backed. If you are incapable of doing that yourself, right? If you need investors from the outside, do that. There's no need in struggling to get it done financially, because then you're going to be at it for 20 years and then you're going to be closer to death. And financial injections in form of investments can be significantly helpful. Also, you want to involve people who are good at executing things like that. Let's say you have an idea. Let's go back to Elon Musk, who wasn't necessarily technically capable of building a rocket. However, he was good at assembling a team of people that were good at it. Right. And then, he took his own financial backing. That's what I said. Few of us are in that position. So, we would need investors to go along with that. Now, we've got the investors, we've got the people to make it possible. Now you need, of course, to sell the idea. And then it's about distribution and so on and so forth. So you see that you, as the major part, as the only cogwheel to connect all of them and to make it function, need to be in a position where you can't be kicked out, like Steve Jobs was, for instance, in Apple in the early years, right? He wanted to hire good people. Those good people decided that he was, expendable, and they kicked him out of his own company. Shit like that happens. So make sure that you have all of the necessary strings in your hand all the time. That takes time, that takes energy, and that's why we are at 99% execution, and that's why we are at a stage where it's insanely important and very realistic that at least the first few years, you're not going to get a lot of sleep, you're not going to get a lot of vacation, you're not going to get a lot of time off, you're not going to get a lot of time with your friends and family, and so on and so forth, right? And that's what you have to be willing to sacrifice if you want to make something big. Now, the whole thing can go differently, as I lived through it. So you know that when you're, on your computer and scrolling through Facebook or any other social network for that sense, you're going to have at the very top a menu bar that stays there. No matter how far you scroll down, the menu bar is going to stick around, right? That was my idea. When I was creating a website, which was a blog, I was bothered that I had to scroll back to the top always to get to the main menu to go somewhere else. And so I, with the advent of HTML5 and, a few other bells and whistles, I sat down and said, can't I make this menu stick? And I got it to work, and I published it in 2010 and influenced well over a billion, well, not more than a billion people, pretty much any web user out there, because that has become common practice. Now, did I make a dime off of it? Nope. Did I change the world? Yes. While I'm not building rocket ships to Mars, I am in a position where I said, hey, a friend of mine made me aware of that, hey, with that, you have, made a major breakthrough in user experience, and that is good. That's something to be, at least in parts, proud of. Again, I didn't make any money off of it, but I did change the world from an idea to execution. Yes, took a long time, didn't take investment because I spent, quite a few days trying to make that work. But there we go. That's really the interesting gist and bit about it, and something that can also happen when you talk about 1% idea, 99% execution. Now, I hope I was able to get the point across. And we're gonna wrap this up here because we're out of time. I gotta upload, so it's gonna be shortly after 1 that this episode gets published today. And we're gonna be back in touch tomorrow when we're gonna talk about a totally different topic, which I haven't really decided upon yet. So in that sense, have a good Monday, have a good rest of the week. We're gonna be back in touch tomorrow. Leave your hands above the blanket, stay safe, and see you tomorrow, folks. Bye.